Hello, hello. This is Mr. Thomas Dallum doing my somewhat probably weak attempt at doing some commentary on some pickleball games. Trying to emulate Brian Ridge. I will tell you, I am not Brian Ridge. I will never be Brian Ridge. I will not be as funny as him. I will not be as unfocused as him, probably. I may talk a little bit more about the actual game itself rather than giving stew recipes or talking about history or what have you. So you won't learn anything other than stuff related to pickleball, and hopefully it'll be somewhat entertaining. This is the a 3-game set. I can get this to friggin' work. This is a 3-game set between Brian and I and Moses and Julio. Our last night in the hot, dry Palm Springs area. We figured out that it's better to play indoors in the evening. This is the one and only indoor place in Palm Springs. Not too bad. Only $15 for open play, and nobody really showed up to it, so we always had the court to ourselves. Pretty good little hand battle to start things off. Great shot from Julio. I think it really surprised Brian. He was hoping that had gone out, but it did not go out. So serve goes to Moses. Right, good deep return from Brian, enabled him to get up to the line. Speed up City from, man, some good resets though from them. And we're now into dinking game. I do like to, let's pause right there. So I do tend to do forehand when I'm on the left side. I will go backhand, but I like to do that inside out forehand roll. If we, I think an opportunity to analyze something here with Julio. And when I push him wide right there, best bet for him to do right there, because he's stretched, well, first of all, it'd be great if he could have shuffled over. Since he didn't do that and he's outstretched, his really only shot that's going to be reliable and consistent is to reset it to the middle, probably right between Brian and I. Softly into the kitchen. He tried to go down the line with it and speed it up, which probably a pretty poor choice because A, hard to get it over the net, it's the highest part of the net, you're out of position. And B, if you do happen to get it over the net, because you're out of position, you're not going to be ready to defend any sort of counter from Brian. So just a little learning lesson there, Mr. Julio, for next time. Hopefully that is helpful. All right, we're having a little glitchy issues here. There we go. Okay, so let's fast forward this a little bit here. All right, serve from Julio. Deep return by me, enabling me to get to the line. Stepping back, trying to keep them back, trying to keep it at their feet. Terrible backhand by me. I think I was halfway between a flick and just a swing at it, and just terrible pop-up by me. So we deserve to lose that point. Something I need to work on. All right, waiting for folks to walk by. All right, here comes Julio with his serve. He's got a good serve, usually serves it pretty deep. Nice return though from Brian. And again, keeping it at their feet, trying to keep them back. Ill-advised speed up from me. I was out of position, coming backwards, put it right on Julio's paddle and put Brian in a tough position. I would have been better off dinking it down to his feet or dinking it cross court. Weird two-handed backhand by me. And again, ill-advised. Let's look at that again. Okay, besides my weird backhand, at least it did get me to the line. And I popped that up. Yep. So bad pop-up by me there. So again, didn't put Brian in any good way of getting that ball back. So trying to get our proverbial shit together here. Again, at least we're returning it well. And that time that paid off. So the deep return led to a little bit of a pop-up from Moses and a good put away. So if we can just keep returning it deep, chances are we will win those points with good fourths and sixth if needed. And I'm having a little conversation with Brian about something. Don't know what. All right, let's serve it, Brian. today. Okay, here we go. All right, mediocre return there. Good drop enabled us to force them to dink and get us to the line. I'm trying to see if I can get an Ernie. They've learned that about me, so they don't ever hit it down the line now to me. There's my inside out that I like. Ooh, that was almost a pop-up. Brian goes down the line. Okay, we're in a good little strategic, and there's the pop-up we were hoping for. And so that was, if we go back to that, I think another little lesson here. We go slow-mo. Oh, not there. Oh, crap. Never mind. Let's try this one more time. See if I can stop it at the right point. And there. Okay, so again, reaching. Legs are a little straight. Funny story here. We were kind of giving Julio a hard time about bending his legs more, moving his feet more. And then Julio and I went to a clinic with Federico Stocksrud, number 2 player in the world. First thing he tells Julio is to bend your knees more. So Julio's like, yeah, I spent $300 to be told what my friends have already been telling me. But anyway, he is reaching here. And I think when you're standing kind of straight-legged and reaching, it's going to lead to a pop-up. So the better bet there would have been for him to let that ball bounce probably and take a step back with his left foot to create space and then just do a nice cross-court dink. You could also, potentially, Moses could have come over and gotten that, but probably from that angle would have been a little bit difficult for him to do. But regardless, that was the pop-up that led to the put away. And that's why you stay patient with your dinks, by the way. Wait for them to hit one high. Don't try to speed up something low unless you're just purposely trying to be really aggressive. All right, here we go. A high drop there, but a good second attempt at the drop. And now we're back at the kitchen line. Let's see if we can win this battle. Lob attempt from Julio. Great backhand flip from Brian. Pulled Brian wide. Brian did a good job of resetting it. And but Moses, really good speed up there. A little bit of a high hop there on the reset. And tough spot for Brian there. All right, let's see if we can get something going on my serve. That was the only kind of annoying thing about playing in here is the dividers were so little, the balls kept coming onto the court. All right, here we go. Ugh, terrible drop by me, too high. I mean, it's better to miss it high than miss it in the net, certainly, but that was super high. I think I was somewhere between a drive and a drop. Probably didn't really make a commitment one way or the other, and it led to something in between, which is usually not a good thing. All right, high drop. This is kind of a dead drop there. Could have been attacked by Brian, but he went with a dink. There we go, looking for an Ernie again. I was ready for that speed up from Moses. So that's, yeah, always expect them to speed up, especially I think Moses and Julio. They like to speed up off the bounce quite a bit. And I'm glad I was ready for that. And that led to Brian's put away. All right, high drive from Moses and really smart play there from Brian. Seeing Julio back, knowing he's not the quickest guy in the room. Easy to kind of do a little drop volley there. All right, good deep serve by me and a drop that forced too much there. So again, I think Julio's probably best bet is to either take a step back, let that drop bounce, or just take your medicine and just dink it over the net. Don't try to do too much with it. I think he was trying to hit a winner off of that. Good drop. That was a high drive by me. Luckily, we were able to reset it. Moses went for a down the line winner there. And one thing I learned, I heard from a pro, is shrink the court by 10% on each side. Don't ever try to go on the lines. So just force yourself to hit it in the meaty part of the court so you don't miss those sideline shots. That was good. Good little speed up from Brian there. Kept it low. All right, so we're starting to get a little bit of a roll here. Getting some momentum. Short high return. That would have been a good return to drive for Brian, I think. I think I would have attacked that like in the middle. Instead went with a drop, but then it worked out because then his speed up just caught the back end of the inbounds court. and made the mistake of dropping it into the net. I hate it when I hit drops in the net. I'd rather miss them high or long. Really, it's better to think of missing them long, not high. And compounded one unforced error with another one on the serve. So there went the momentum. Let's see if we can capture it back. But we were on a little bit of a roll. I think we reeled out 4 straight points, and but unfortunately gave it right back to him. All right, got to the net, and just too much from Julio there. Thankfully, neither one of us tried to hit that. That was well out. Second serve to Brian's backhand. All right, so that might have been going out. I think Julio was a little late reacting to it, thinking it was going to go out. Don't know, but worked out. It was a little high, but at least it was to his backhand. And those are the most frustrating things. Pretty good serve, forced him to hit off his back foot, which usually is going to lead to a short return. It was short, but so short that it caught the net, and I got the win on that one. All right, earning our way up. Ooh, that was a good shot from Julio, forcing me wide. Somehow I got that back. So I make the hard one and miss the easy one. That's the story of my life. Just need to give that a little more oomph on my reset there. So momentum has shifted back to Julio and Moses. I think I was tired from the previous point. That's what I'm going to blame that on. Maybe my legs. It was a lot of pickleball we played in 4 days there. Okay, so we lucked out there. We stop here. Let's go back to that. I just want to show something. So Brian is moving, so he's not set, and that's probably going to lead to a pop-up, right? So as he's reaching over, his best bet there again would be to just drop it into the kitchen, not try to do too much to the middle, since he's out of position. And maybe that's what he was trying to do. I don't know, but it certainly led to a pop-up. Did he stay out of the kitchen? He did. But that should have been we all do it. I think especially from mid-court, I find hitting swinging volleys from mid-court is more difficult than it looks, because you've got to get the angle just right. You don't want to have too much angle so that you hit it in the net, and you don't want to have enough angle that you hit it out. And so I think you need to roll it. That's kind of your best bet, but we tend to more hit down on it. So anyway, we lucked out there because he hit it in the net. Okay, here we go. We are at the line, back into a dinking game, and that was a miscommunication. That's my fault. I will take the blame for that. That is Brian's shot all day long, being the left side player. I should not be reaching over with my backhand there. So my bad on that. I need to just step out of the way, let him take that. So that was where I was reaching, and I just did a little reset instead of trying to do too much with it. And then for Brian, I think we go back to that. So there's my, I'm happy with that actually. I put 2 hands on it, trying to control it. It was a really good shot by them. Just take your medicine, drop it into the kitchen. So I was able to do that, and so that we could live till the next point. But God, I hate when it does that. Let me go back to Brian here. So here's this, and I think right here for Brian, I say he did. I like that he just was trying to just dink it over the net. I don't like that he picked the highest part of the net to do it down the line. I think if he goes back to middle with this, he's got a much better chance. So that's the one thing I would say to do different. He probably knew it after he did it. It's like, yeah, why did I do that? Why did I go down the line? Just go middle. When in doubt, go middle. If you're out of position, you're stretched, it's a really offensive dink, something like that, reset to middle is your best bet every time. Oh, and boy, I did what Julio did earlier. I reached and popped it up. I should have let it bounce. I think part of it is we get trained to try to take everything out of the air, but then we end up reaching too much. And I think you're better off just letting it bounce, take a step back, and then you can really roll it and be more aggressive. Oh, nice. Good setup from Brian there to go to dink to his backhand. I think for Moses there, he should have just dinked it. I think he didn't stay patient, sped up at the wrong spot. I remember that I was running up, so I just felt like I had to hit a lob, I like a defensive lob, and that worked out. We got him back to the baseline and kept him back. Okay, we got to get our momentum back. I don't know what the score is. I think we're losing. Not sure. Good deep return from Moses there. Forced me into a little bit of a high drop, trying to earn my way up to the line. I get it and was not patient. Not a terrible shot to try to speed up out of the air. I got it over the net, and I think it would have landed in. I just pulled it. I think I got to aim middle with it, and if I pull it a little bit, it stays in. Another high shot there. Not a lot much you could do with that. These people get by. Okay, here we go. Serve from Julio. And yeah, good shot. Kind of a hybrid shot, or maybe a 60% drive. Good example. You don't have to hit the drive super hard. Just let it dip over the net, and that's better than hitting it hard. Good drop from Julio there on my backhand. And I think that stayed in. I think a miss hit. A little lucky there. If I'm Julio, I let that go out too. But it just stayed in. Good backhand from Moses there. He has a really good backhand. I think he prefers the backhand over his forehand, unlike most people. Everybody's just kind of waiting. Who's going to hit the high ball to speed up? Who's going to lose patience? Oh, yes, I remember that. We had exactly what we wanted. I think Julio initiated the speed up. We were on it. And then miscommunication between Brian and I. Saw Brian go for it, and it kind of caused me to hesitate. And then I completely mishit it. I shouldn't let that change my swing. I think I'm too sensitive to my partner sometimes and what they're doing. And I just sometimes need to pretend they're not there and just hit it. If we clash paddles, we clash paddles. And that is out. Too much cut on that, I would say, on the return. Just a big, let's look at that so we can see it. So I think for Julio, it needs to be more of a push. So I think holding the angle with his wrist and then pushing through that ball. So you will get some cut spin, but not overcut it. And I think he swung down on it, which pops it up. And with that underspin, it's just going to make it carry. So I think if he stays low, swings through instead of chop at it, then he'll get a ball that will stay in. Good serve from Brian deep to Moses' backhand. I should have sped that up, and I didn't. I think I remember it bounced high on me, and I was worried that if I tried to hit a hard drive there, I would have hit it out. And then I violated my own thing I was saying earlier, shrink the court by 10%. I tried too much to push Moses wide there. I should just go at his feet. I don't need to hit a winner. A little bit of a high drive, but not a terrible drive there. Gave me a good 5th and 7th to reset, and good speed up from Brian. So that's the key. Your drive is really to set up your 5th shot, your 3rd shot drive, and make it an easier drop shot on your 5th. That was a good drop there. And man, second time I did where I missed left. So my takeaway from this game is I really need to shrink that court. Trying too hard to hit winners down the lines. Okay, short, high return. We've survived it. All right, let's get reset. Let's get to the line. Oh, boy, we hit all the hard shots, and I don't blame. I think it's a good take from Brian to get aggressive there. I think most of the time he's going to make that, and we would come away with a point on that. But the net won that battle. Not a great return, a little bit short. Luckily, Julio didn't hit a big drive on it. All right, yeah, good shot from Julio, keeping him back. That's the game. Oh, I think it was close, but well played by Moses and Julio. All right, that's game one. They're up 1-0. Let's see if we can come back and win game two. Bye.